This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And folks, I'm out of school, so I don't have to worry about final exams. But if you are in school, you better make the grade because I know somebody who cracks down on those that don't. Folks,
Uh,
back in 1981, there was a whole slew of slasher films, and one of them was Final Exam. I turned 9 in 1981, but I didn't see this film till much later. But I have the guy who played the killer in the film, master stuntman himself, Timothy L. Raynor. How do you do, Tim?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's awesome to have you. You
I,
came highly.
I, I think what you need to say is some may pass the test, but God help the rest.
Well, that's what it says here.
That's exactly right.
Some may pass the test, but God help the rest.
Exactly. That's what you got to tell the students.
It's kind of like Friday the 13th Part 2, which came out the same year.
Huh?
Those that went to the bar to drink and didn't come back to camp, they're
Yeah,
like the students that left to go home during spring
exactly.
break.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, there were a few smart ones in the slasher films
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
yeah. There's a couple that got away.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah, some may pass the test, God help the rest.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep, but nonetheless, she came highly recommended by Tommy Kovac of Splat from the Past, and
great guy.
yeah, and so we throw guests back and forth or guest ideas back and forth, and he had mentioned you, and I was like, I had never interviewed somebody from Final Exam, and I had the Blu-ray here, and I said, absolutely, send me the contact info, and I'm on board. So there we are.
Yeah.
So, do you still prowl the campuses, making sure people pass?
Uh, Not really. I'm working on a few projects. Myself right now, but I haven't really been around any college campus lately. But I am working on a sequel to Final Exam.
Are you really?
Um,
Oh, wow. When's that going to come out?
well, we still have a lot to go through yet. It's called Final Exam Redemption. The
Okay,
killer,
will this
the
be a
killer comes back
theatrical?
to well, the killer comes back to redeem himself.
Oh,
Yeah, it's one of
I,
those.
l- I like that idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be a new killer.
Okay, I like that. You know what that reminds me of? In The Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the villain of the film. He's the Terminator. In Terminator 2, they make him into the hero of the film,
Yeah,
and they ramp up the suspense by having Robert Patrick be this
Killer
very
Caution.
different kind of cyborg, and that's what this kind of reminds me of. So a redemption story. I like that idea.
Well, I'd like to tell you more about it, but we're still working on the plot.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Will this be a theatrical release? Please tell me it will.
I'm sure I'll try it for it. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Do I have your email address?
Yep.
I'll send you a synopsis.
Okay. Actually, you don't have my email address. I'll send you my email.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, I like that idea. What a great idea.
No, it's never been done before. I mean, you got Freddy versus Jason out there, you know,
Hmm.
and the end. I'll tell you, the ending is going to be kind of like a knock him down, drag him out, Terminator, you know, uh, Freddy versus Jason type fight.
Yeah. Oh, I kind
Yeah,
of like that.
the
I
guy
like.
the guy I have cast for the new killer. He's 6'5".
Oh,
Okay?
fantastic.
Yeah, and I've worked with him before. He did my makeup for a couple films. We've worked together. And I asked him, I said, hey, you want to play the killer in the new one? He's going, oh, absolutely. He does a lot of special effects stuff. So, yeah, we're going to team up and make it a really good ending for everybody.
Are you gonna bring back Cecile?
No,
Cecile,
there's no actors that have been in it before other than myself.
I can't pronounce. How do you pronounce her last name?
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi. What's she up to now? She
I
still
have
work?
no idea.
No idea.
But I think the only one, uh, I think there's only been a couple of the actors that actually went on to do a couple of shows on TV. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember their names right now. But the one I killed in the was having the affair. I can't remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she went on to, I think, General Hospital, a couple episodes. And that was it. Nobody else.
Ah, Deanna Robbins.
Deborah Robbins, yeah.
Okay.
But she did a couple General Hospital, but everybody's disappeared. And I think Ralph Brown, he passed away.
Ralph Brown. Oh, Wild Man?
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah,
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. When
yeah.
did he pass away and what of?
I have no idea. I found that out a couple of years ago.
You really had a knockdown, drag out fight with him in that weight room.
That's a good story right there.
Tell
Because
me all about it.
he almost died.
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, we he's never done a fight scene before in his life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done a lot of live on stage sword and sorcery fight scene Klingon stuff. And I said, Ralph, have you ever done anything like this? He goes, nope, but I want to learn. So I said, okay. It took us 20 minutes to choreograph that fight scene. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
the first time we went through it, it was so good. We got a standing ovation from the whole crew. So the ending of it was when he throws himself up against the weight machine, right? And he chokes himself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He dies. Well, they wanted to do another shot, a close up of him, right? Well, I usually rigged all those fight scenes and the stunts, especially wrapping the cable around his throat. So I was on the other side of the gym room talking to some people, and I didn't know they were going to do another shoot. So I turn around and I see Ralph throwing himself up against the weight machine, and he slumps down and he starts to shake. And I'm going, that's not in the script. And I realized he was choking out. The cable had wrapped around his throat. He wrapped it around too many times. And it twisted up and it just choked him out. He was almost, I ran through the crowd, pushed everybody out of the way. Daryl Cathcart, the cinematographer, John Chambliss, I pushed him right out of the way. I grabbed him, picked him up, got the cable off his neck, and put him down on the ground and revived him right there. He was almost gone.
Oh.
That's how stupid some people can be, without having the right people. They didn't even tell me that they were going to do that. So it's kind of like on the spot thing.
Wow, you know what? It reminds me of something I heard out of another stuntman, Ted White,
Right?
who played Jason in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And he had to put his foot down when an actress was out in the middle of the lake
Mm-hmm.
and completely nude on this raft. And she's starting to get hyperthermia.
Yeah.
And
Really.
he threatened to leave the set if they did not let her warm up.
Well, I just had an episode last week. I was doing it was a non-paying thing, but they needed a stuntman to attack the main actor with a machete.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it was a guerrilla shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what they wanted to do, they wanted to do it in the San Dimas Port Authority here, the train station, okay? And they handed me a real machete. And this is in a port. This is in a public transport station. I got a dangerous weapon in a public transport station. They didn't even tell the people they were going to shoot the film, shoot that scene. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. This is totally illegal to have this weapon in this station. Okay, and the guy that was the star and the director of it goes, well, don't worry. If you get arrested, I'll get you out.
Oof.
So I handed him the machete, and I said, have a nice day. I walked.
Those people are stupid.
The guy had an ego you wouldn't believe, man. I tell you. So that's it. That was it for me. I took my wife was with me at the time, and I would say, let's go. We're going to leave.
Wow. Yeah, like he's gonna get you out, you know. Yeah. What an idiot.
Totally. Totally. I don't know what they're going to plan on doing with the episode that they're trying to shoot, but it's not going to go anywhere. Sorry.
Well,
I mean,
that's a dangerous filmmaker if he's doing that.
well, you have certain rules you follow in filmmaking. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's a guerrilla shoot, you're going to shoot something outside of business or in a public area. You go to the security or whatever else, and you say, "Look, we're going to do this right here. If you don't mind, do you mind us doing this?" And you tell them exactly what you're going to do, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't even bother to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, you get some pretty stupid people out there.
Well, that sounds like you were almost in a film with a very stupid person.
And I don't work with people like that. I'm sorry.
Nope, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So what else would you like to know?
I would like to know what. Well, let's get into a little bit of your background, you know, before we dive more into the final exam. Go give you a little more time to study that exam. I'd like to get a little bit of your background and what got you into the industry.
Oh boy, I tell you. Um, as a kid, when I was growing up, uh, about 7 or 8 years old, I used to have these dreams, about these guys in white uniforms fighting. Every time, once a week I'd have it, didn't know what they mean. So one day I walked past a martial arts school, and I saw these guys in white uniforms practicing karate. And it's like, ding, that was it for me. So I started studying martial arts at 10 years old. Well, as I went along, I started, when I made black belt, and I had enough experience to teach. I opened up when I got out of the Navy, I opened up my first school in Norwich, Connecticut. And I started teaching there. And everybody started asking me, said, well, why don't you enter tournaments? I'm not too good at tournaments. They're pretty one-sided sometimes, So I put together a demonstration team. We started to hit it off up and down the East Coast doing demonstrations, sword and sorcery, Klingon stuff. And a friend of mine was a radio announcer in Connecticut. He said, well, why don't you and your team do a double duty for us and do security for these actors of Star Trek and do some of the fight scenes that you're so good for. So I got to meet Carl Strucken. I don't know if you know who he is. He was Lurch in the Addams Family movies.
Okay.
If you're a Star Trek fan, he was Mr. Hom on the Next Generation. Okay. He was also the Argelian ambassador in what was it? Can't think of what the show was. My mind just went blank for a second. It was with I can't even think of the name of it now. Anyway, he was the Argelian ambassador who got killed. He landed face down in his suit. Okay, so I met him. I met John Delancey. I met LeVar Burton, and after we performed for them, they said, "You should be in Hollywood. You should go to Hollywood and do this." Well, I had a friend, and this is how I met. This is how I got final exam.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that was in a movie with or worked with Jim Houston. So I went out to visit in California, and I walked into his office, and there was a guy sitting there with a beard, t-shirt, jeans, and cowboy boots. And he looked at me and he goes, "I want you." And being in California, I'm going, "What now? You want what?" He goes, "No. I'm Jimmy Houston. Rod was telling me all about you. Okay, I'd like you to audition as the killer for Final Exam." Yeah, I said, "Oh, okay." I've never done that before in my life. So they say in Hollywood, you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you're walking down the street, my friend Carl Strucken, okay, 7'2", how he got the job on Star Trek was he was walking down Hollywood and Vine, and a woman stops her car in the middle of the road, and he goes, "I want you." And he's telling me this story, So that's how he got the job on Star Trek. And so basically the same thing happened to me. So I showed up at the audition site dressed in a three-piece suit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've never been to an audition before in my life, you know. And these people started walking in. They got t-shirts, shorts, sandal. One guy had a big afro and a beard, you know, looked kind of dirty, you know. And they're walking in, and well, I said, okay, well, I guess this is the guy people I'm going to show my stuff to. So I go put my gi on and come out with my weapons and that. And basically, I blew my wad in the first 5 minutes. I did everything I could think of. High kicks, swords, whatever. And Jimmy comes over to me afterwards and he whispers in my ear and he goes, "Can you do anything else?" I just did everything I could think of. Well, for charity purposes, I will break 1,200 pounds of ice with my hand. Okay, you can see that on YouTube. It's on YouTube under my name. But I also do what is like a 6-inch palm strike to a guy with a pad on his chest, and I'll knock him back, 10 feet. That was the only thing I could think of doing. Well, I took the biggest guy in the audience. I was the guy with the afro and the beard. Okay, brought him out on the mat, and I grabbed the Los Angeles County phone book, which is pretty thick. I put it up against his chest and I said, "Hold this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to concentrate, and I'm going to hit you as hard as I can with just my mind and just 6-inch strike. And I'm going to knock you back as far as I can." And he was really snotty, and he goes, "Okay, fine," like that. I don't know what came over me, whether it was his attitude or what, but I'll tell you, when I hit that sucker, it was like you see in a cartoon. Zing, swoop, all the way across the mat on his back, 10 feet. Okay? And he lands there, and excuse the language, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Jesus fucking Christ, that's the hardest I've ever been hit in my life." He rolls over. This guy weighed about 250.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls over and walks off. That was the end of my audition. Never heard anything for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So Jimmy Houston finally calls me and he goes, "Tim, congratulations. You got the role as a killer." "Whoa, cool, man. That's great." And he goes, "Yeah, the executive producer was really impressed with you." Now I go, "Well, who was that?" "That's the guy you knocked on his ass." Don Canvas. Yep. True story, man. You never know what happens in Hollywood.
That's funny.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, s- you're mentioning this stuff. I gotta ask because it put something in my head. Did you catch the arrow midair?
God's honest truth. Yes, I did.
Okay, okay.
I,
All right.
as a martial artist doing this film, and the people I have taught and the things I've done before,
Uh-huh.
I had to do it. I had to, because that's me.
Yep.
Okay, I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Just like breaking the ice. Okay, it's never been done before. I did it, and I didn't want to disappoint anybody. So,
Mm-hmm.
what we were going to do was shoot the arrow out there and practice with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Jerry Rushing, okay, who played the coach,
Uh-huh.
he actually, another story is that he and his brother Johnny are the actual Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the story was based on, their lives. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jerry is a North Carolina State archery champion, and every year, at that time, he told us they would have a wild boar hunt, okay, on 600 acres of land that he has, and give the meat to charity.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Well, he positioned himself, several yards away from me, and was shooting the arrow at me. But he was shooting to the side, of course, and I'd be kind of stupid to shoot it straight at me. So
Uh-huh.
he was shooting to the side, and I was hitting the arrow, but I wasn't catching it. The reason why, it was a pinpoint coming at me. And I only saw it when it was right there, right beside. And I tried to snatch it, couldn't do it. Well, Jimmy Houston said, "We got to shoot the scene. We got to shoot." I said, "If we have to, we'll throw the arrow at you." I go, "No, no, no. I got to try and catch this." And in the scene, he shoots it up at me like this.
Uh-huh.
I said, okay, well, he goes, well, it's $1,000 a take. He's looking at me going, you're going to pay $1,000 if you miss it. It'll be on you. So I said, okay, I got to try. So we get into the scene where I'm chasing Courtney up through the, the thing. And one of the things people don't notice when I entered the building, I had the knife in my right hand. But as I'm going up the stairs, I had the knife in my left hand. Okay? So when I get up the top of the stairs, he comes in and says his line, you take one more step towards that girl, I'm going to have your head hanging on my wall. Well, of course, the killer takes the step, right? So he shoots it up at me. And I was kind of like, I see the whole freaking arrow coming at me because it's coming at me at an angle. And I snatched it like this, and I went, I ruined the whole thing. I was so happy I caught it. I ruined the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
I caught it 5 out of 7 times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We took several other takes with it. 5 out of 7 times. So, yeah, I did that.
That was impressive.
Well, a lot of people don't think I did it, but I did.
No, I believe you. You're a stunt guy. Of course I'm going to believe you.
Thank you.
Yep. Of course I believe you. What was it like working with Cecilia? Or Cecile?
She was a sweetheart. She was a real sweetheart, As a matter of fact, on our time off, I took her through some martial arts moves out there. The EO Pictures, Motion Picture Studios is in Shelby, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Earl Holmesby is a guy that he always wanted to be a movie star, movie producer. So he bought this like 60 acres of land, built a studio, like 6 sound stages. He even had an airport, a landing strip for an airplane on his property, and a hotel right there. So we would go out on the airstrip, and I would show Cecile some moves, and we'd work out. But when we were doing the scene, when she was hitting me with a 2x4, she cried. She thought she was hurting. And I said, Cecile, I've been hit harder than I've been hit by horses before. Come on, you didn't hurt me. Okay? But she would cry, and she was just a great kid to work with. Now, John Fallon was an asshole.
Which one was he? Let me look at this now. John Fallon. Oh, the guy who played Mark. Which character was he again?
He was the one hanging around with Wildman.
Oh, I know which one. The one that you come out of the barrel and killed.
Yeah, that was a trick too. Yeah, he was a dickhead. He really was.
Now, what was his problem?
Ego. Well, the thing that got to me one day was that they only had one van on the set, okay? And we had a day off. It was a long day, a day off. But some of the cast and the crew wanted to go into town, and because it was like 40 minutes away, closest town. So I said, I drive him. I get the van and drive him in. Well, he had the keys to the van. And I said, John, I want to take these guys in to town, let them get some stuff, supply it, and come back. And he said, no, I'm going into town to party. Well, there was this drain pipe on the side of the building that I was standing next to. I hauled off and hit it and crushed it with my hand. Boom. He put the keys in my hand. Yeah.
Good decision on his part.
Very good decision. Yeah, I was with it. I was ready to punch him out. Matter of fact, every time I killed somebody, they would play the song "Another One Bites the Dust." Some of the guys that were reading the stuff with me said, "You're really going to stab him, aren't you? You're really going to stab him, aren't you?" No, I'm not going to really do that. They didn't like it at all.
Wow.
He was just a dick.
Okay.
You run into that sometimes.
Oh, that's unfortunate. At least Wildman seemed to be nice.
He was cool, man. I liked him a lot. He took a beating. He really did.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the punch that smacked him up against the weight machine, that connected.
Ah.
Because he moved too far forward. And that connected. Luckily, I opened my hand up just in time, so it wasn't a full fist. He took it like a champ, man. He was good. He was cool.
Wow. Now we're about Deanna Robbins.
What about her?
Yeah.
Uh, let's just say she and Jimmy had a thing.
Okay. Well, Jimmy had good taste then.
Yeah, she was okay to talk to, but it's just I don't know. She when we did the scene for her on set, she wouldn't allow anybody else on set except me and Daryl Cathcart, the cinematographer.
Okay.
She was nude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't blame her, you know. Yeah, that was an interesting scene.
One character that does stand out is Joel S. Rice's Radish. What an interesting name, Radish. But that character was a lot broader than it might have looked to on paper, you know?
And that's one of the things that will come back in the new script that I'm writing. Okay,
Uh-huh.
about I'll let you read the synopsis because
Okay.
it's kind of like connected, more connected just to Courtney than people think.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because I did like that dynamic, and then you had Sherry Willis-Burch as Janet.
well, yeah, she wasn't that bad. You know, she was when I killed her, uh, she would you know she ran along the side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
She fell about 3 times. She tripped and fell about 3 times. And if you notice in one of the scenes, you'll see a lot of grass and weeds up by the building. And
Yeah.
she was catching her foot because she was trying to run as close to the building as possible so I could grab her. She fell. Well, in some of the scenes you see there's no more grass because the crew came and got it all out. And I snatched her right out of midair right there. You know, snatched her around. It was funny. But she was cool. She was all right. Cool. Now Radish, he almost got a full fist in the face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hopefully not be because of a bad attitude like
Oh
the
no,
other guy.
no, Joe was good. He was
Oh,
cool.
good. That's
But, but
good.
but you know when I punched through the door and I grabbed him,
Yeah.
well, uh, he was supposed to come up and have his head to the side.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So the first scene, the first take, okay, he comes running up and I'm powering back, man. I'm psyched. I'm ready to just smash through this wood, okay. And I you know how hard it is to stop a fist at full swing. And
Yeah.
I'm coming forward like this, and Jimmy Hughes goes, God, like this. He had his face right in front of the camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right in front of him. So the next take, he comes up, and you can see when I punch through the panel, you can see it just raise his head. Okay? That's when I grabbed my phone from.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good.
And of course, the other guy I gotta mention is Terry Farron. You know, he had an interesting predicament with a tree.
That was a tough stunt.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, that was a tough stunt. I could only do it once.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make it look good. He'd never done anything like it before, just like everybody else. So what they had to do, I wasn't in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What they did, they brought 2 semi-trailers up. Okay, I put 2 planks across the semi-trailers.
Mm-hmm.
That's 18 feet in the air, pal. 18 freaking feet in the air. So I had to bring myself out on the planks above him as he walks underneath me. So previous to that, I told him, I said, look, as soon as you feel my hand on your shoulder, drop like there's no tomorrow. Just drop. Okay. And that's how it worked. As soon as I came down and my hand touched his shoulder, he dropped. But I had to land. Usually you land with your feet together, you know, at a height like that. I had to land with my feet apart. Okay. That put a hell of a strain on my groin muscles. Okay. Because I had to support myself and him at the same time coming down. But it worked.
How cold and uncomfortable was he with being only in his underwear and covered in shaving cream.
That was real ice they put down
Wow.
there. That was real ice. Yeah, he was a little cold.
I bet. You know.
That
Well,
scene
talk.
worked good.
Huh?
The scene worked out well.
Oh yeah. So talk about the there's a scene, I'm not going to give it away, where your character takes a fall. Now, you being in stunts, I'm assuming that's you.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's not the fall that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It what happened is we couldn't bring in an airbag.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So they had to put cardboard boxes, okay, tape them, okay, up as high as about 8 feet. Then they had to put like 8 inches of foam on top of that. Then they brought in a canvas, which was the same color as the floor. Okay, so you hit that and everything collapses. That was fine. It was the second one that hurt. They wanted to shoot the killer actually hitting the floor. So I said, "What? Yeah, we want to see if you can actually hit the floor so we can film that." Okay. So I started thinking. I said, "Okay, here's what we do. We'll put the camera down on the floor, and being in the martial arts, they have stuff. I don't know if you know what yukimi is,
Mm-hmm.
like rolling and falling. Okay,
Okay.
slapping out and judo that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they put the camera down on the floor at the right angle. I stepped back about 10 feet and I took a running jump and leaped over the camera, somersaulted in midair, and did a slap out right in front of the camera. That's me hitting the floor. So that was hard because it was a cement floor. I'm used to doing it on a wood floor, but not on a cement. So I did it about 3 times.
I gotta say, it was a great location. The whole movie was in a great location. Talk about that.
The college, we actually did it in 2 places. The
Mm-hmm.
college was great, but the kids at the college that were still there, they were kind of how can I put it? Troublemakers, some of them.
Okay.
So they were laughing so hard one day that we couldn't shoot a scene. So John Shanless came over to me and he says, "Why don't you take over a keg of beer to him?" And back then I was buffed and I was really, just bristling with hormones. So I put this keg of beer in my arm like this, and I walk over to him with one hand and I plop it down in front of him. And I say, "You guys can be quiet now, can't you?" Yep.
There you go.
But it was a nice location. It was good. It was about a half-hour drive, maybe more, from the studio itself, But it was nice. The dorm that they used was actually a dorm that they were refitting,
Mm-hmm.
fixing up. So I guess what we did to it helped them along too, fixing up the rooms and that. And that room where when when she was talking to Sherry, Corey was talking to Sherry in that room. Okay, uh, there was like 10 people in that room, and
Okay.
it's a really small room. We had everybody on the side that you couldn't see them. The camera and the boom operator there. There's like 10 people in there. It's amazing how many people you can pack into one area. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did you go to the premiere when it was released?
Well, I was back on the East Coast when it came out, but I did see it though.
Do you ever?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you ever get? I just got back yesterday from Horrorama, which is a horror film convention in Toronto. Do you
I've
ever
never
get to do? You've never done them?
I have never been invited in 40 years. 40 years, my friend. I have never once been invited to a horror con.
I'm going to try to fix that. I don't have any pull, but I
I,
know.
at this point in my life, I don't see it happening. Okay, you've got actresses and actors like this one actor. Okay, from Scream. Okay, she has a credit on IMDb as "Girl in the Bathroom."
Uh-huh.
She's hitting horror cons left and right. Just one scene. I'm the killer.
Oh yeah, I've interviewed her, Nancy Ann Ritter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Left and right, man. Killer. Final exam. Nothing. Nada.
I'm gonna try put your name out there. I think that would be great. And I know that Horrorama with Chris Alexander, they're often looking for niche people that you don't necessarily see at a lot of cons.
Yeah.
I'll put your name out there to them.
Okay, I appreciate that, but like I said, I don't see it happening. After 40 years, nothing, not a zip. I've done more podcasts than I have cons.
That's unfortunate because
I don't know why.
wow.
I bathe. I use deodorant. Brush my teeth. I'm a nice guy.
I think you're a nice guy. You know what? I'll put your name out there. I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, I can't make any promises. I've got a lot of people that have asked me to help them out because I assisted an actress at a couple of cons, a Canadian actress, So
Well, I did my research, on some of these actors. Some of them have been on screen for like 5 minutes, and they're going to cons left and right.
yeah. Well, you're the killer in Final Exam. I would like to think that counts for something.
I thought so too, but I guess not. You got me. I don't know. Not
I'm
one.
going to I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to see what I can do. I can't make miracles, but like
No, no.
I do Horrorama in Toronto, and I do Frightmare in the Falls in Niagara Falls, and that one right now, Horrorama just happened. Frightmare in the Falls fully booked right now, but I'm going to see what I can do because I think it's a crime you're not being asked to these. And I mean that seriously. Like I think people want to get this signed. I'd like to get this signed.
Actually, I during the Halloween October, I sign a lot of posters and DVDs.
Hmm.
People ask me, "Would you mind signing for it?" Yeah, I'll do it for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sign yours.
Well, you know what? I'm going to reach out. I'm going to see what I can do. I've had people ask me, but I think it's a shame in 40 years you haven't been asked.
I My wife can't even figure that out. You know,
Oh,
and
you got me baffled.
she's an actress herself. She was on Star Trek Enterprise. And she's been asked to go to cons, and and that's it.
Yeah. Here's my culprit.
Oh yeah, I got 7 of them.
You get 7? Hear
Actually,
that?
I got 8 of them now. She just picked up another one.
Skittles, you see that? He got 8
Hi,
kitties.
hi.
Skittles is like, does he have treats?
Yeah, we got plenty of treats. I actually have what is called a Bombay Panther.
There you go.
No, no, God, he's huge. He looks exactly like a Black Panther.
Oh,
He's got
nice.
these fangs like an inch and a half long.
There you
Huge.
go.
But he's like a kitten. He's a love bug, you know. And I got 3 dogs.
Well, you know what? I'm going to try for you, man. I'm going to see what I can do because I do think it's a shame, and I think especially these horror cons,
Yeah,
I I really I really think that you would draw.
that was
You
one of the
know.
things one of the guys told me. I says, "Well, if you can't bring in $1,000 at the gate, they're not going to take you."
Well, that really depends on the con
I guess so.
because I know the one I just got back from. Not everybody took in $1,000, but I think everybody reached their quota. Um,
Well,
I know Caroline Monroe was at it, and she was busy all weekend, you know. But she was the big headliner, and so was Tom Matthews. But they do go after smaller niche people that you don't see at a lot of cons too. So
I'd love to tell my story.
Horrorama is a smaller con.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna see what I can do. And I know the promoters for Frightmare in the Falls. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can work out.
I appreciate that. Not gonna hold
Yeah.
my breath, but I appreciate it.
No, don't hold your breath, but the same token, if these people are into horror movies the way they say, then why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why not?
Exactly.
You know what? I'll try for you. That's what I'll tell you.
I appreciate that. What
Yeah.
else would you like to know?
You know what? You did another film called Trophy Heads. That I gotta bring that one up because just a second, I'm gonna turn to it on here because I know there's some people I gotta ask about in this movie. Here we go. Okay. Charles Band, of course, made this movie. I met his brother, Russell Band. Yeah. Anyway, let me see. Is she listed here? I thought Linnea Quigley is. Yeah, Linnea Quigley is in this movie.
So it's Carl Strucken.
I met Linnea at Horrorama, and I had her on my show on my birthday back a few years ago, and I just got this at Horrorama. It's a coaster from Return of the Living Dead. I got her to sign my Silent Night, Deadly Night, where her naked body meets some antlers.
That's gory.
She was a hoot. Um, I'm going to be frank. I have not seen Trophy Heads, but looking it up here with your credits, I'm actually quite curious. That's got a great cast. So,
I really didn't do that much in it. It was like background stuff, you know. I didn't even nothing. Wasn't no speaking role or anything. Just there.
well, I recognize a lot of names: Brink Stevens, Darcy DeMoss, Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bear. Uh,
See Carl Strucken there?
yep, I see her. I see him. Excuse me. See him.
I didn't even know he
Oh,
was.
Christine DeBelle, I've interviewed.
Hmm?
I've interviewed Christine DeBelle. I didn't even know she was in this. She was in Meatballs. I had her on the show the first year I did this podcast. Did you get to work with any of these? Oh,
We
Amy
were, we, we,
Parfret.
we were all in. They had us all in one room, uh, acting like we were going for an audition.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only scene I was in.
Amy Parfret, Jessica Moore. Oh, wow.
Now, Carl, they did a. I found out that he was in it after looking at the credits. I said, "Where were you?" And they said, "Well, they had me at the lake. They shot me at the lake. Asking me questions." And I said, oh, "Okay, I didn't see it."
Irina Murphy, who seems to be going through a rough period in one of these photos. Okay. Wow. I am kind of interested in this film, though. Looks like it's right up my alley. So I'm going to ask you a question I asked Ted White. I'm going to ask you the same question. Maybe it's the gym scene, but what is the most dangerous stunt that you've done? And I'm talking about your entire career.
Well, I would say the fall is one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we're all dangerous, you know. It's just the most stunts I've done would have been with Final Exam,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say the most dangerous one was the car scene
Okay.
because the car was rolling downhill
Mm-hmm.
and there was no safety harnesses or anything, and I was on top of the hood. So going down through, you couldn't see where it was going. They just pointed the car down the hill, and I had to hold on, drag that guy out, slam him on the hood of the car, and stab him. But there was a guy underneath the dashboard pressing on the brakes to slow it down once we got to the bottom. But as we were going down, it was going down the hill. I could have fallen anywhere.
Wow. That's dangerous filmmaking.
And when it's your first one, you do what you can do, you know.
Yep.
So, but everything I've ever done ever since, I've always had a hand in it to make sure that it was done safely, you know.
Yep.
I did a video uh, uh, Chelsea Chelsea Bain.
Okay.
Okay, you can look it up on YouTube. I did the
Mm-hmm.
stunt driving in it. Okay, and I played a sheriff bounty hunter type guy, and her name is Chelsea Bain, James Dean. That was the song title. Chelsea Bain, James Dean, and it was a pretty good car chase in there.
Okay.
You want to check it out? I can send you the link later. If you want.
Sure. Be open to that.
So,
Now, do you have any charities that you're passionate about that you want to promote on here?
uh, probably. Let's see. Uh, God, there's so many of them. You know?
Hmm.
Mostly animal rights charity.
Yeah.
You know?
I worked with Lisa Langlois, the movie class of 1984. I assisted her at Horrorama this past weekend, and she's a good friend of mine. And she had a thing, you could buy the pictures from her and whatnot, but she had a thing with you get a selfie with her, make a donation of your choice to one of three charities, and she had an envelope for food bank, one for animals, an animal charity, and I think it was Humane Society, and one for youth on the street. And she made some good money for those three charities, especially the animal ones.
Yeah, the
And
animal. I think the animal is more important than what most people think. You know, that's why we have so many ourselves. You know, most of them are rescues.
yeah,
And
so mine is too.
I got my start with the animal training with animals when I got out of the military.
Hmm.
I hunted snakes and reptiles for bush gardens. Okay?
Hmm.
And while I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Charleston, South Carolina, and they had a place there called Charlestown Landing. Okay, and it's an animal forest basically. They had um, they had made huge pits and bridges you could walk over and actually see the animals in their natural habitat. They had wolves, mountain lions, you know, all kinds of stuff. And believe it or not, do you remember the old Mercury Cougar commercials where
I
they would have
think so, yeah.
mountain lion jump from one Mercury Cougar to the next?
Okay.
Yeah, that was Charlie the Cougar. I wrestled with that cougar in Charlestown Landing. Powerful, powerful animal, but
Hmm.
gentle as hell. So I volunteered because they were going to retire him to the habitat. Okay. Well, I volunteered to clean out his habitat area, you know, while I was, off duty. So the director of the whole habitat had a pet wolf named Draka. She was a timber wolf. She weighed 110 pounds.
Hmm.
He would allow me to walk her around the whole complex. Okay. So I was the only one that could do it. And she was with me that day in the habitat. And she loved to play hide and seek. She was one of those that, she was a puppy, it's huge, 110-pound puppy.
Hmm.
Well, I'm raking these leaves up, and I look up and I see one of the guides bringing a group of people across, So I'm raking this and I look over and I see Draka. She's hunched down like this, and I say, wow, let's give him a show. So I throw down the rake and I bolt across the clearing, and I'm running like this. And she comes out of the bushes after me, and she hits me from behind, knocks me down, and she's growling, and I've got a hold of her neck, but she's playing. And
Hmm.
the people are look, he's being killed, he's being killed. So I slapped her on the nose, and she prances away like a little puppy. I got up and hi guys, continue to
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah, they love that one. Then there was a time they had was a fox. They called him Jimmy. He was a red fox. He had gotten into a fight with a silver fox in the habitat, and they brought in these experts to catch him. You
Hmm.
know? And I'd been working there for a couple of years anyway, and I mean, all the animals knew me. They couldn't catch him. They couldn't get him to come out because they wanted to put this salve on the wound.
Hmm.
So I said, "You want me to do that? What, you think you're better?" I said, "You can try." So I climbed down into the habitat, walked over to this log, and I sat down. And pretty soon, they had these burrows. Oh, Jimmy pops his head up out of the burrow, looks at me, comes trotting over, comes up and puts his paw on my shoulder. Okay? And I took the salve out and I said, "This is for you." And I said, "You got to lay down." And he laid down right in front of me. I took the salve out and I started putting the growl over it. I said, "This isn't going to hurt. This is for you." And I put the salve on like that, closed up the thing. He prances away, walked up to the experts, handed it to him, walked away.
Nice, nice.
And then we had a bison in there
Wow.
that the only way we could go in and feed him was in an end loader. This sucker would ram the end loader and spin it around. That's how powerful he was. Okay, now, I ain't going in there. Sorry, nope, nope, I'm not going in there. You guys can do it. I'm not. That sucker was big, man. So, but that's the only way they could feed him. Then we had an instance where, you ever see a red raccoon?
No, I've seen red panda, but
A red raccoon was very rare. Okay, they had one there. This sucker was an escape artist.
okay.
They would set traps out in the marsh every day to catch other, raccoons and stuff like that. And they bring them in, let them into the habitat. Okay, I'm going to show you my baby.
Yeah, look at that.
This is Chili.
Yeah.
It's a
I used to have a cat that color.
Yeah, that's Chili.
Yeah.
He's a rescue.
Here you go. A
Well,
nice kitty.
Go see mommy. But anyway, every day they would catch this raccoon, the same raccoon. He was getting out of the habitat. Nobody could figure out how. So I got nothing to do. I staked myself out one night and I watched this raccoon climb the nearest tree to the fence.
Mm-hmm.
They had a fence that they couldn't climb over because it was angled into. He would climb up the tree and get this, go hand over hand out on the farthest limb until he was past the fence and dropped down.
Wow.
Smart.
Mm-hmm.
He would go out, get his evening meal, get captured, come back in. Amazing.
Wow.
Animals are smart, man.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
Another instance, I was when I was hunting snakes for the reptiles for Busch Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
I caught every venomous snake that you can think of for them. I was more into catching constrictors than anything else. So I was out in this one area, and they had a couple of water reclamation ditches there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking through looking for rat snakes. So one day they wanted some rat snakes. I said, okay. Usually they're in trees too, I'm walking along and I stop for a second and I look, and this is about 40 or 50 feet away from me, and I see this what looked like an old tire sitting there. I said, you know how tingling in the back of the neck you get, something's wrong. So I said, something's got that shouldn't be there. So I picked up this rock and I threw it. I hit it. Nothing. I did it again. Picked up this other rock and I threw it as hard as I could. Hit it. It was like a 12-foot alligator.
Ooh.
And it was mad. Now, see, alligators can run 40 miles an hour. I can run 42. Okay. That sucker came after me. I was gone. I was on top of my truck, okay, as it went past me and slithered into the drainage ditch. That was scary. But that's what you run into out there.
Wow. Was that the most dangerous animal you've encountered?
Yeah, that one was, I have to say so, yeah. That was, alligators are okay. It's probably a male, but the females are worse, especially if you come around their nests where their eggs are. They get really vicious.
Mm-hmm.
They won't stay. They'll come at you right at you. They'll kill you. Yeah, that was the most dangerous one. Actually, no, it wasn't. On my second trip to California, I went scuba diving on
Okay.
Catalina Island, and I'm spearfishing down in the weed in the kelp and that stuff, you know. And I hear the har har har, the boat horn going off. So I come to the surface and look around, and they're waving to me like this, you know. Okay, I'll go in. So I start swimming towards the boat, and just as I pull myself up onto the dive platform, just like that, 12-foot tiger shark goes right by me. Yeah. I'm going, okay, that's it for me. I'm going home.
You almost had a Jaws moment there.
Yeah, it was big. That was scary. I didn't even see it.
No.
Oh, they saw it. They saw it circling around, but I didn't see it.
Wow. Wow. Do you have a web page that you want to plug and promote on here?
I got one more story for you.
Oh, please. Yeah.
That was probably not the most exciting event with an animal.
Okay.
We were in North Africa, okay? And
Love Africa.
they have these safaris that you can go through, drive through on your own.
Yeah.
Okay. So me and my Navy buddy and a couple of girlfriends at the time rented this old Plymouth. I guess it was a. Watch out! Our dogs had a movement. I guess it was one of the old Plymouths, you know. And we're driving through. It was, you know, they give you a road to go around, you know, follow this road. Well, we drove along, you know, we saw a couple of lionesses and lions, you know, and further on, giraffes, you know, some monkeys. And then a little bit further on, these rhinos came out. Okay? A whole pod of rhinos. First one goes across, no problem. Second one goes across, third one, fourth one. The last one goes across and stops in the middle of it. And we're right there. First ones. Okay? He stops right there in the middle of the road, and his tail goes zing straight up in the air. And I go, oh my God, I know animals. That's a bad sign. Mike, get us out of here. Get us out of here, Mike. I can't. There's people behind us. He turned towards us and like this over to us, sticks his horn underneath the front bumper, and proceeds to raise the whole freaking car off the ground like it was a bouncing ball. Kaboom, 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 several times. Puts it down and walks off.
You're lucky it wasn't an elephant. That thing could have raised it higher.
I was never so scared in my life because they are powerful animals. It was nothing. This Plymouth was picking it up like it was nothing. But yeah, that was good. As far as the website, I really don't have other than my Facebook page. That's about it.
Okay. So that's where people can get hold of you, is on Facebook?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to see what I can do about the con situation.
Make sure if they're looking for me on Facebook, it's got to be Hanshi Timothy L. Raynor, not Timothy L. Raynor.
Okay.
Hanshi is my rank in martial arts.
Okay.
So that's what it means. Okay. It's anybody above ninth degree.
Okay. All right. I'll give you my email address, and you probably should give me yours too, because I could hand it off to any of these promoters and maybe have a good chance of. I'm hoping anyway. I'll try my best for you. You know.
I thank you a lot. I'm privileged to be on your show. Like I said, I love doing the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens, happens. I'm here for the long run.
There you go. There you go. Well, I think it was wonderful to have you come on here today. I really appreciate it. I enjoy this movie, and I consider it an honor to have. Huh?
You want it signed?
Love to get it signed.
I'll give you my address and you can send it to me. I'll sign it for you.
There you go.
I do it all the time, man.
There you go. I could make that work, sure. Yeah.
Not a problem.
Well, I'll tell you what, before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
And it's gotta give me the name of it again.
Well, just state your name and that you're the killer in Final Exam, and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Okay. Okay. My name is Timothy L. Raynor. I play the killer in Final Exam, and I'm on Greg Gilbert's show, the Python.
Python's Paradise.
Python's Paradise. I'm sorry, Gil. I'm better. I'm better. But yeah, Python's Paradise. Great show. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm going to sign that to it.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. And I'm going to see what I can do about getting you into a con. That should happen. That should happen. It's
Okay.
I think that's a crime that hasn't happened.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Love you guys and everybody that's helped me out so far. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for allowing me the honor of chatting with you today.
The honor's mine, man.
All right. You take care, man.
Take it easy. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye-bye.